All right, everyone. Once in a while, I like to be a little bit blunt. If you still support Joe Biden at this point, there's got to be something wrong with you. I can understand if a person is a partisan, so they're just like a lifelong Democrat or Republican, and they just default to the person that is within their party. I don't fault people for that, although I do think that partisan politics is dumb. As a non-Republican, non-conservative, although I constantly get misbranded as one, I can sympathize with that particular fixture of politics because a lot of people, they have a football team mentality. They've been raised up in it, and it's not really their fault. So if you're supporting Biden, not because you like him, but because of your party, I'll give you a pass. You don't want your grandpappy's ghost to get mad at you for voting for the other party or something like that. Almost like a feudal thing, like two very tribalistic families out in the hillbilly hills of Arkansas or something like that. Okay, I'll give you a pass. If you support his ideological policies, though, at this point, you got to be nuts. And I think there are few people who actually fall into that category, thankfully. I think there are more people that viscerally hate him. Everything that he's done, everything that he touches doesn't turn to gold, it turns to shit. That's number one. Like the shit that he takes after Jill gives him his prune smoothie and his fiber biscuits, and he takes his midday nap, and he poops his pants, and then she or a Secret Service agent has to change him. I think that's actually fairly believable at this point. I mean, he's obviously got some health issues. He needs more fiber in his diet, Jill. Give him a third fiber biscuit for lunch and see what happens. The Oval Office, the porcelain throne across the Oval Office will definitely no longer be part of the White House. It'll be part of the Brown or off-Brown House at that point. Link in the description, though. I want you to take a look at this. This is Biden in Maui. He goes to Maui. 13 days late, by the way, after telling the press that he has no comment on what's going on in Maui, probably because he missed his briefing. He was too busy dirtying his own briefs. He then goes to Maui. The first thing he does when he steps off the tarmac is complain about the heat and effectively insinuate that it's similar to like the fires that have gone through recently. So that's number one. That's a problem. Then he goes up before some people and he starts complaining about how he once suffered a house fire. This was almost 20 years ago. And he almost lost his Corvette and his wife and his cat. Of course, we know that fire was actually a very minor fire in his kitchen that was easily contained. Yes, Joe, your multi-million-dollar home is very impressive. We are aware of the fact that you own a Corvette. We don't need to be reminded of that. If you're going to do that, you're doing a Mitt Romney, basically. This is the other thing. I wanted to mention this really briefly. I take umbrage of this. He effectively had a Mitt Romney moment. Do you remember when Mitt Romney was at, I think it was a NASCAR event back during the 2012 election, and he was like talking about how people's fancy-ass ponchos or something like that. They had like these $10 rain parkas because they were out in the rain, and he's sitting there wearing a suit that's worth as much as their fucking car. And people didn't like that because here you have a dude who's worth $100 million or so dollars, I think at that time, probably twice that now, a vulture capitalist, in other words, corporatist, with a car elevator and a collection of fancy cars and multiple homes that are all very large and very rich. But he would pretend to be down to earth. He would pretend to be one of the dudes, the sort of politician who would go to the local dive bar and start talking people up, and he's ordering martinis while everyone else is drinking Pabst or something like that. And people are like, they're rolling their eyes and they're like, okay, fuck off, dude, basically. I don't tell you that to your face. They'll be respectful, but they're thinking that inside. Why don't you be more like Donald Trump? Own up to the fact, yeah, I own a Corvette and I'm better than you. I'm really, really rich. Ha, ha, ha. I've got all the power. That would have been, oddly enough, a better move than what Joe Biden managed to accomplish by whining about the fact that his car was endangered by a house fire. But then you have this. Again, link in the description. Watch it. Joe Biden did not almost fall asleep at an event in Maui. But doesn't the dude look massively tired and haggard and just like he's falling apart? Like, who is the White House physician right now? Is it Jack Kevorkian's relative? Is it his cousin or something? Yeah, the jokes write themselves. The dude is literally crepitating in front of us in real time, much like Mitch McConnell or Dianne Feinstein, and nobody appears to be interested in doing anything about it. The dude is literally crepitating. People bring up Crypt Keeper memes all the time. No. I think it's more like is somebody messing with his medication and making him croak faster or something? Yeah, is the DNC replacing his prescription at that secret secret DC pharmacy where they don't give the receipts to the public to show all the weird shit that all the politicians are on? Prescription cocaine, probably a lot of Viagra, I would imagine. Libido enhancers, Alzheimer's drugs. We do have a gerontocracy at this point. Is someone fucking with his medication? What the fuck planet is this dude even on at this point? I don't think it's Earth, though. I think it's somewhere else in the, maybe in this solar system. That's all we're hoping for. That's the best outcome, is that Joe Biden is not in the next galaxy over at this point. The dude is completely scrambled. He's nuts. You can't possibly tell me that somebody would ideologically choose to support Joe Biden. I can understand supporting him if you genuinely believe the propaganda that Orange Man bad, because you've been trained to believe that his almost certain opponent is Hitler, a retarded version of Hitler. Okay, I can give you a pass. I disagree with you. I can give you 100 reasons why you're wrong, but at least you've got a reason. If you're a partisan Democrat, I can understand. Old habits die hard. It's sort of like smoking, I suppose, in that case. I can understand. But there are apparently at least a few people out there who ideologically believe that Joe Biden has done a good job, number one, is healthy enough to serve another 4-year term, number two, and number three, isn't effectively wasting away into the ground before their very eyes. They choose, generally, not to even view this material. They will simply fact-check it into oblivion. Joe Biden didn't almost fall asleep. Okay, granted, you're correct. Does he look well? Does he look healthy? No, I don't think that he does. And meanwhile, you've got the mythology being dreamed up by the DeSantis fans right now that Donald Trump is skipping the debates due to heart disease. Yeah, there's definitely a comparison to be made. Donald Trump appears to be able to walk up a flight of stairs. Joe Biden has a little bit of a difficulty with this from time to time. You may have noticed this. There is no comparison to be made. It's like apples and oranges, or rather night and day in this particular case. Anyone else in the entire race, including people who are almost as old as Joe Biden, are more fluent, more coherent, obviously more physically healthy, and they don't look like they just woke up out of the grave like that one zombie dude who constantly comments on Rumble. Meme-worthy, by the way. We've got our own resident zombie. I'm sure that he's doing better than Joe Biden in the cognitive department, too. Memes aside, though, you gotta be crazy if you're still supporting Joe Biden. His policies are all over the place. They've been a mess. Half of them have failed anyway. Those that have gone through have been disasters. We've got shovel-ready 2.0 on steroids. We've got the antithesis of tax relief at a time when the economy is already hurting. You've got Bidenflation, which, by the way, is still linear. It's not actually going down. Thankfully, it's no longer rising precipitously, but it's still not moving in a positive direction. You'd need prolonged deflation in order to take care of that, and that's not what we have right now. The risk of more interest rate rises by the Fed, etc., etc., etc. Go on down the line. Find me an accomplishment of Joe Biden, because I'm scratching my head. I'm wondering, what has he accomplished other than being a goddamn embarrassment? Other than that, I can't think of anything. That's about all. Peace out.